Hello, guys and gals, and welcome. Forgot to turn on my lights. Today, I'm going to be going over an interesting tool, which you guys may or may not want to use. It's one that I had originally envisioned way back in frickin' Diablo 2 Alpha. I thought it would be a really cool thing. I think it was actually before Alpha. I never actually could make it. I'm not a technical genius when it comes to programs, but I do distinctly remember actually coming up with this idea a long time ago. It would be really neat if you had a program that would tell you, like what rune words you could make with what runes that you have. In other words, just punch in all your runes, and it would give you an answer, so to speak. And it seems like someone has come up with a program to do just that, which is very well made, and I'd like to go over it today on stream and show you guys. So first things first, here are all my runes, right? So let's take an actual real example. So these are my current runes on my character. And we're going to input these runes into the Runeword Calculator, and we're going to see what the output is. What rune words can we actually make right now with what we have in our inventory, right? So let's pull up the website and let's get started, shall we? All right, so here we are on D2Runewizard.com, and basically what we have here is in the tools. If you click up at the top, there is a actual tools section, and in the tools section there is the Runeword Calculator right here, and this is what it brings us to. And here you can include various variables, so you can say no high runes, no mid runes. You can also say include cubing combinations, which basically means you can cube up to the next rune. Which is certainly allowable. And we're going to go ahead and put in our runes. So I currently have 2 L's. I currently have 1 Eld. I have 1 tier. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 nefs. Pretty nice little healthy amount of nefs there. 3 Fs. I've got no Iths that I can see. I seem to be out of Iths. I have 6 Tals. I have an infinite number of rowels. I don't even know why. I have way more rowels than anyone should likely ever want to shake a stick at. I'm pretty sure it's close to 30 rowels. I have. I'm probably gonna use those for crafting, by the way. I have several orts. 2 orts. I have 3 thulls. I have 3 ams. I've got 3 souls. Gingers don't have souls. I've got 1 shale. I've got 3 doles. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hell runes. Don't know why. Always have so many IO runes. I have 3 of those left at the moment. I have 5 lum runes, 1 co, 2 fowls. I have 2 limbs. I've got 1 pull, no ums. I have 1 mal. I have an ist. I have a gull. I have a Vex, no low, Ohm, I have a low. I have 1 Sir, no Burr, no Jaw, no Cham, no Zod. And then now I have my runes put in, and that's what we're looking for. So we go down here to the bottom, and now it's going to tell us what we can make. So we have a pretty large list of rune words here that we are capable of making with our rune combinations. Right here it shows that we need an rune for this particular rune word. So we can change this to where we're missing 1 rune, can miss no runes, can miss 1 rune, can miss 2 runes, etc. You can also include ladder only or not include ladder only items. You can also include LOD only. As you can see, I can make a total of 55 rune words right now. I can make dragon, I can make a wind, a grief, a fortitude, silence, death. I can make it death. Heart of the oak, flickering flame, rift, principle, delirium, oath, venom, prudence, enlightenment, passion, voice of reason, lawbringer, treachery. I mean, I could go through this whole list, but it's a pretty long list. Some of these are relatively inexpensive rune words like black. Some of these are relatively expensive rune words like dragon. But each one of these rune words is something that I can create right now with what I have in my inventory. So being able to create these, kind of just gives me an idea of what what options I have available to myself. And I'm glad that somebody finally did make this tool, because it's a very, very cool tool. Something that, like I said, I had envisioned from a long time ago, but never really had the technical expertise to pull it off. In fact, I remember, believe it or not, I remember at one point I was talking with somebody about it, and they were like, I think somebody's actually made that tool, and I can't, and they couldn't remember what the name of the website was at that particular time. And how much you want to bet? It was probably this one. Anyway, if you guys are interested in using this tool, I think it can definitely help you guys and gals out there who might not necessarily know what you're looking at. You know, if you're looking at your Diablo 2, you know, resurrected stash, and you just see this, like, unless you're well versed in like the rune words that you're capable of creating, unless you're well versed in, you know, like the combinations, you might not necessarily know what this will allow you to create. But something like this tool is going to basically give you the, you know, answer, like, what can I create right now? Now, granted, you have to find bases. Bases are important too with this. And like, for instance, even if I did want to make a dragon armor, I would want to find a nice base or nice shield. I wouldn't want to spend a Sur and a low rune on something that would go in a crappy base. Don't ever make that mistake where you basically get like these really expensive runes, and then you put it in something stupid. You know, it's happened a lot for those people who are completely unaware of how Runewords work and what the best bases are for those. I actually have a series right now that is running. It's my item bases series, and I haven't completed it yet, but it is. I have done shields. I've done paladin-only shields. I've also done armors, and I've also done mercenary weapon bases. You know, so far you can go over those and you can take a look. I also have a whole video talking about Runeword bases. If you'd like to take a look at that, it's a pretty long one, but it's kind of like a more generalized approach to the question. And, you know, that way you'll know what the best base is for each item. For instance, a grief, the general accepted best base for a grief is a faceblade. The faceblade is the fastest base, and it just tends to work the best with grief, because grief doesn't have any actual like increased damage percentage based on it. So the damage of the weapon doesn't really make that big of a difference. Same thing when you're talking about like a dragon armor, when you make it in a shield, you're making it for a paladin, you want to make sure you're making it in a 45 all-res shield. You don't want to make it in something that is a piece of crap. When you're making it for a non-paladin, like for instance if you were making a dragon sorceress, which is totally a thing, you would want to make sure that you're making it in a 3-socket low strength shield. Something like a troll's nest would be the better choice. Monarch shield is not a low strength option, and it's also kind of a terrible option as far as block chance too. So like it's just a bad option all around. The only reason people use monarch shields is because it's the only 4-socket low strength option. There are 3 4-socket shields that non-paladins can use: the monarch shield, the Aegis, and the ward. And all 3 of them have really high strength requirements, but the monarch is the lowest of the 3. That's the reason why people use the monarch. If we were to go with something else, like let's take a look at fortitude. So fortitude is something that you would either make for yourself or for a mercenary. And fortitude is a very nice piece of equipment. Very, very good for mercenaries. If you're going to make it for a mercenary, I would recommend making it in an Eth armor, preferably something with around 700 defense or higher. Whereas if you're making it for a non-mercenary, a player, you would want to make it in something that's more along the lines of a 500 plus armor, non-F. In fact, usually if you plan on using fortitude on any character, I would recommend, even if you are putting it on a mercenary first, I would recommend that you make it in a non-F base, because that way you will be able to transfer it in between yourself and your other characters as needed. With the advent of the shared stash, it's super duper 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 easy to transfer those items around, so it's really not a big deal. Just put it in your shared stash before you log out of one character and then use it on the next. Silence is an interesting one. Silence is actually a pretty cool rune word that goes in bows. Has tons of resistances on it, and quite honestly, it's a very interesting rune word for for weapons too, because it has +2 to all skills. It's 20% faster attack speed, 20% faster hit recovery, 200% enhanced, 75 all res. There's a lot going on with this. It also has 11% mana steal. There's just like some crazy stuff going on with silence. It's not the best rune word in the entire world, mind you, but it definitely is a an interesting one to put in some various items. Like for casters, if you just want +2 to skills and 75 all res, it's kind of insane. Even if you ignore like everything else on the weapon, +2 to skills and 75 all res is freaking awesome. And then it also has 30% MF on it as well. Completely fix all your resistance issues on a caster. You would have to make it in a 6-socket weapon though, so a crystal sword would work. Because it's a low strength option. You're not actually going to swing with it. You're just going to use it for your caster. Great option for Ubers, by the way, because of that 75 all res. Really overcaps you on pretty much everything. Death, which is a 5-socket rune word, so that one's a sword or an axe. One of the best ones to make a death in is an Etten axe. It's a very, very good choice, an ethereal Etten axe, mind you, because death has the very, 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 very nice indestructible. The indestructible mechanic allows you to make it an ethereal item to get that extra damage boost. Heart of the Oak, which is capable of being made in staves, and maces is not capable of being made in hammers or scepters. Keep that in mind. Don't make that mistake. You'll feel really silly when you realize it doesn't work. Maces and staves only, which means that you could make it in flails. A flail is a really good low-level option, and it's the one that a lot of people choose. So they look for 4-socket flails. They're not actually going to attack with the flail or anything. They just want it for that +3 to skills and the 40% faster cast rate, along with the really nice resistances. So, like, this is going to give you a very good, idea of what you can make. And, once you have the right base, like if you're making a flickering flame and you have a nice 3-socket helmet with pretty decent defense, around 150 plus defense is good for a flickering flame. Or if you're a barbarian or a druid, you may be looking for a specific pelt or barbarian helmet with the right plus to skills to use in combination with a flickering flame. It's more common for druids than it is for barbarians, but it's still a very interesting option nonetheless, because you can get, for instance, +3 fire skills and like +3 volcano and +3, molten boulder, and then you end up with a +6 helmet, which is absolutely sexy. I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to drag this video on for too long. This tool is an absolutely excellent tool, and I'm glad that it has come into existence. If you want to use it, the link will be down in the description of the video. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when I am talking about some interesting tools that you can use to enhance your Diablo 2 playthrough. And as always, keep watching.